We are live, you guys, live. Unless you're watching this on playback, and then it was live, but it's not anymore. So, if you're watching this on playback, guys, just be aware there may be spoilers. We're not actually doing like an official after party, but this is sort of an after party because Paige has not watched Supergirl, Batwoman, or Supergirl. So, if you want to ask me questions, you can super chat them, and I will answer them. But he hasn't seen them yet, so. We'll talk about them later on. We do have topics to talk about tonight, though. We're going to talk about the bloat of the Arrowverse. Is there too many Arrowverse shows? What can we say about the characters and the amount of characters on the shows? Because that was a kind of a hot button topic on Twitter earlier today. Looks like the shows are going to be delayed again. I just found out. Paige just told me they're going to get pushed back again, so that's not fun. And Wonder Woman is getting pushed back. So what does this mean for Black Widow? I mean, it feels like that could be a problem. So we're going to talk about all that. So should we start off with just the general chat about the bloating of the Arrowverse and then kind of move into the news after that?
Is that in reference to me or?
Yeah. Would you rather? Because I feel like we don't have a lot of people at the moment. So I figure we'll get more people in here in a bit. We'll talk about that when they get here.
Yeah.
Okay. For the win said, why no face cam, Paige? I can't answer that.
I don't know. Who cares? I don't know.
Apparently he does. Apparently for the win cares. Okay. I don't know what else to say. What am I supposed to say there? I don't know. You watch one. I mean, he was on camera the other day on his live stream, I guess. Okay, so we'll start off talking about the bloating of the shows. So somebody was saying that that CW is kind of going back on their initial word. If you remember, I think before Batwoman came out, they had said they didn't want more than like 4 shows on the network. And now they don't seem to care about that anymore. And what do you think changed their mind? Is it just the viewership numbers or like...
I don't think 4 was the number. Wasn't it 6?
It was definitely like a cap, like how many shows they wanted.
Pretty sure it was 6. They definitely, I know it 100% wasn't 4 because before Batwoman there was already 5.
Right.
So I think it was 6. I'm pretty sure it was 6.
Yeah, but I don't think they were counting Black Lightning at that time, though. A lot of people didn't start counting it until like later on, I guess.
Well, no, I think the actual executives counted Black Lightning. I think everyone else that was just like watching didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why everybody kept saying 4 earlier, is because they probably didn't think of Black Lightning.
Yeah,
as one of the shows.
Like when I think they said like it was DC that didn't want more than 6. So that at that time they had 5, and it was more like, okay, we could add 1 more, but we don't want to, go past that. But I guess now that Arrow's done, it gives them another spot.
So how many? If we have everything, what do we have? Like 7? 7.
If Green Arrow and the Canaries gets picked up,
which is a good probability of that happening, I guess now.
Yeah.
So when you were doing, I can't remember if it was a live stream or if it was the other night. Maybe it was over on your live stream the other day. Maybe not. I don't know. But you have said this before. A lot of people want less characters on the show because they want the show to just focus on like the main character. And if you look at the way the shows work on the CW, it would be really hard to do a show where the hero is the only character they focus on.
Yeah,
almost difficult.
What's he talking to a mirror?
Right.
It's not like a comic where you can say that's the difference. I think people say like it's okay, diverting a bit. It's also like how people why can't they just take a storyline from the comics and do it exactly on TV? Just because it doesn't work that way. It's a different medium. It's a completely different medium. It's exactly why like you couldn't take something that's been on TV and do that in movies, because TV has this much longer time to go through it and expand on. Like Game of Thrones, if it was a movie, it would suck balls.
Mm-hmm.
But because they're able to do it in a storyline or even any show, they're allowed to spread it out, go over multiple characters, multiple storylines, and it all leads into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what allows them to do something well there. So with like in the show where like, okay, well, if Barry was just by himself, you can't have the thing in the comics where it just pretty much has what the character's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It has like the different boxes and stuff like that. And it's
like the little like the private monologues they have wouldn't work on a TV show. Yeah. Like that's a complaint. One like you can complain that maybe there's too many, but to say, oh no, it should just be Barry, I think that's this might be a bit slack to someone that's really in support of this argument.
but it's pretty stupid. Like it's really not well. It's not thought through very well. That criticism. Tom, you can't have voiceovers. That would be terrible. You'd be like constant monologuing. Like that's why Arrow got rid of that. Arrow got rid of that really early. The monologuing, like the inner monologuing.
It just didn't work.
Sorry. Yeah. It can work in a movie because, as I said, it's a shorter contained space. However, it doesn't work on a TV show with multiple episodes. It's happening all the time.
Yeah. So apparently the Flash movie was also delayed. Is what I'm saying.
Well, it just falls into that thing where it was meant to start. Apparently, it was meant to start at the end of April.
All right.
But I think they would have been pre-production. I don't think they would have started filming until May, probably end of May. So I think like rehearsals and stuff would have started at the end of April.
Yeah. So we have a super chat here. I think this is the first one from Sheldor, $2 super chat. He goes, "Are they delaying new episodes until they film?" I think they're trying to give themselves as much like growing room as possible or breathing room as possible, because the further space, like they don't want people to watch this episode coming up this week and then forget what's going on like 4 weeks down the road. And they honestly at this point if they don't know if they're going to come back and film, they probably don't know how they're going to wrap up the season with the episodes they have. So I think that's kind of what it is they just don't want to lay all their cards on the table just yet until they've made a decision. And I mean, would you agree with that? I mean, do you think that's what they're doing?
Well, it's that, and also it's important to remember the studios where they edit down the episodes are closed as well. So they would only have maybe 2 episodes in hand ready to air, and the others would still be in post-production.
Right.
With VFX and just editing in general. And the editing you could probably do on like at home, but the VFX and stuff, they'd probably need the more powerful stuff to get done. So, like they might, I reckon they'd have 16 and 17 probably done, and 18, 19, and obviously definitely 20 wouldn't be done. So that's why they're being delayed more. So it's not really the episode filming, it's more the fact that they don't actually have episodes to air like done. So that's the biggest issue, I think.
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. Victor DiCincello with the super chat, $4.99. Thank you so much. He goes, "Is there a deadline date for these shows in which they will say season over, and will we have to wait for next season?" I would say that the deadline's going to be, we talked about this on your live stream a little bit, probably June-ish, right? That would be the absolute latest for the shows, for the season to be over. Or is he asking like for filming? I'm not sure. I think June would be the latest that they would put on.
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, it's different boat, but the guy who did Supernatural, who runs Supernatural, said they've been aware and they'll finish the season, even if it airs right at the end of the year, but it's their final season. So it's different. They could do something where it's they air what they can, and then they film the other stuff later, and they air it as like a special or something. Like it's like a 2-hour finale or something like that.
Right.
And they air it on a Saturday or something, like a night.
Apparently, The Walking Dead is doing that. The Walking Dead apparently is doing a special to wrap up their season.
Yeah, but Walking Dead also does have a bigger break in seasons as well.
Yeah, they do. But I feel like that could work if they needed to do it for certain shows. But
yeah, it would. It wouldn't work with Flash and stuff because it completely puts stuff out of sync. Right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find the updates you had here about, or you had mentioned about the delay on the episodes. Do you have the actual dates in front of you? I can't find them here.
It doesn't say when they're coming back. It just says that on the week, which is April 7th, that Crisis is playing.
Okay, so yeah, and I think Laura mentioned that as well earlier. So we're not getting the episode we were supposed to get that week is now not coming back as well.
Yeah,
so,
and neither is Legends.
Right. So Flash and Legends will not be back at the beginning of April. They're going to rerun Crisis, which is, I mean, I said it like a week ago. I was like, they're probably just going to rerun Crisis, and that's what they're going to do. It made the most sense. It's you can contain that story, and you can spread out those 5 episodes over 5 nights. So, I mean, it does kind of make sense that they're redoing it, but I wish they weren't doing that. Let's see. Sheldor with the $2 super chat. Also, why delay Wonder Woman 84 just 2 months? Well, because theaters are probably not going to be open, or at least not all of them. So they don't want to put out that movie with limited theater release when they could just postpone the film.
I think he means why bother delaying it if it's just 2 months? I think that's what he's asking. Like, why not put it back to like September or October? I think that's what he's asking.
Oh, I think because that wasn't that weekend. This is why I was mentioning Black Widow. That was a weekend. The date, I think it's like the 14th of August. That was a weekend where there was really nothing there. And so Black Widow was going to move there. People were saying that it was going to move there. So I think they just wanted to jump on that date is what it was. I don't think there's a lot of openings the rest of this year. They'd have to delay it till 2021. And I don't think they wanted to do that. Is that what he's asking? I mean, I'm assuming.
I think pretty much. Like, I think the thing is that I think like Disney's probably made a mistake by just delaying Black Widow indefinitely and not giving an actual date.
Yeah,
because and it also just allows other studios will go, well, I'll take this date, I'll take this date,
and that's kind of what happened here. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens.
And also it's just a thing where, like, if they put it there, like, I think this will be the last time they'll delay Wonder Woman. I think if it gets to this point where they know they won't be able to release it in August, and they know it won't die down what's going on here, it's not going to surprise when they just release it digitally. Sorry, but it's at a much bigger cost. So it's like $30 to watch it or something. Like that.
Keep an eye on, and I know this is a weird thing, but keep an eye on that Trolls movie, because that's going to determine like what they're going to do with movies later this year. Because the movies that have already been out that they're putting out on release were movies that already had, at least one weekend of like actual theater time. So Trolls is going to be like the first one that's like exclusively on digital, I think. So, I mean, that movie could end up making a lot of money if they do it that way. So I know it's going to be out in select theaters as well. They could do that too, right? I mean, they could do like a theater and digital release sort of.
Well, they could do it in countries where theaters are open.
Right.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Australia and cinemas are open, but I think America's going to be much tighter with it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So we have a $4.99 super chat from Geek Information. He goes, "My dudes, hope all is well with you guys in the midst of the pandemic. I'm doing okay so far. Don't have a job, but I'm still smiling, I guess. Hoping to meet at SDCC. If not, there's always next year." Well, here's the thing. I don't think Pagey's going to be able to go anyway because of travel restrictions, right? I mean,
it's confusing. I think we're blocked for 6 months. I have no clue, though. It's so unclear. They're not even telling us, like, not being very transparent. They're just saying, oh, here's one thing, but here's another thing that contradicts that one thing. So just like, yeah, I have no idea. It's confusing as hell.
Yeah, so we probably won't meet this year, but there is always next year. So makes sense. Let's see. We're going back up here. I know I had another one. No, that was it. Okay, so I think we're caught up. Just double checking. So hey, Nerd Vision, how are you? Long time no see. So Trolls, is that still a thing? Absolutely, it is. It is 100% a thing. So let's go ahead. We're going to continue the conversation about the bloating on the shows. So if we're talking about in the shows, not the shows themselves, but the cast on the shows, is there any show out of all the ones that we have right now that you think could lose 2 or 3 characters and still be fine? Any of them? Or do you think all of them could? Like, if you had to pick a show and say they could eliminate 2 or 3 characters and they would be okay, which one would it be? And which characters?
I don't know. It's probably a tie between Flash and Supergirl.
Okay. I feel the same way. Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely a tie between them. I'll just say the characters from Flash. I think you could lose Ralph, even though I really like Ralph. He's just not in there enough to warrant him being there.
Right.
So this is regulars, not just random recurring. So
it's people. Yeah, it's people that are on there all the time. Yeah.
I'd say Ralph, probably Cecile, and
I know who people want you to say, but honestly, that would never happen.
Iris.
Yeah, Iris they would never.
Yeah, but I think Iris' place is warranted.
Yeah,
I think it'd be silly to say that Iris shouldn't be on the show.
Yeah, I agree with you so far. I would
Ralph,
say,
Cecile. Honestly, and then I hate to say, you could argue Joe. You could really.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's exactly what I was about to say. I hate to say it, but I feel like Joe could also sort of kind of take a back seat.
Like, you could lose Joe on the show, and you'd miss those good moments between him and Barry, but they come like 4 times a season.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I think Ralph, Cecile, and Joe, in regards to regulars, are the characters you could lose, and I don't think it would affect the show heavily, just because they're not a constant on the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you can see Ralph doesn't show up sometimes, and they don't even think about him. They don't mention him. His name doesn't even come up. He's just not there.
People in the chat were talking about regulars, not recurring. A lot of you are saying recurring characters, or even just guest characters, like Chester. Chester's pretty much a recurring guest. So it's regulars.
Right. On
Okay, mate.
Supergirl, let's think about this. There's actually so many characters.
Yeah, don't worry. I pushed you under the bus because I went, he can handle Supergirl.
So I would say at this point, probably. Oh God, it's so rough because everybody has like these things going on. I love John, but Martian Manhunter is kind of pointless right now on the show.
I'd agree with that.
I also feel like Kelly's kind of pointless.
If James Olsen was still on the show, it'd be the easiest choice ever.
Yeah. Kelly's kind of pointless, and to some degree, I feel like Andrea is right now. That she hasn't really done anything in the last few episodes either. So if I had to cut people, that's probably who it would be. I mean, you could argue some of the other characters, Brainiac. I love Nia, but Nia this season hasn't really been that important. So I would say Brainiac is the most important next to Alex. So like Kara, Alex, Brainy are definitely in. Lex has to be in. Lena has to be in. I mean, you could eliminate Lena, but I think Lena brings something to the show that the other characters don't bring to the show. Like, I feel like Kelly is kind of just there. They've been using her a little bit with the storyline this season, but they haven't really done that much with her. So I would say that. I think Black Lightning has just the right amount of characters. I feel like they're right at the right amount of like regulars. And Legends, we're kind of used to the size of Legends cast. You know, I feel like it's always been that amount, right, or close to that amount from the beginning. And it's an ensemble show. There isn't really like one character they focus on, so I guess that would be okay. What else do we have that we could like character wise? Batwoman. I don't really know enough about their characters to say that somebody.
And also, they're only in season 1. Like, I'm sure they'll add characters, but I think at the moment they're just at a season 1 amount. Like, they're pretty much the same as like Arrow, Flash, and all those shows are at.
And I know you haven't seen this week's episode, but they actually give the regulars more stuff this week, so it's actually really good to see characters like do more. So that's kind of good. We got a super chat here from Sheldor. Also, The Walking Dead episode 16 was delayed. Yeah, so I mean, you guys, until things are somewhat back to normal, expect stuff to just be delayed. I mean, that's pretty much the way it's going to be. The only show that we might get early instead of delayed is Stargirl. Jeff Johns, I think, made a statement about Stargirl today. So I think they're really going to start pushing that show hard. So I would not be surprised if we see more Stargirl advertisements and things out there. Did you see the statement from Jeff Johns?
No, what do you say?
He was saying that this show is like the heart and soul of these characters, and it's made to watch with the family. And so it sounds to me like they're really gonna push hard with the series.
Yeah.
Wait, I missed the super chat. I think it was right here. Staggervor. 199 super chat. Would you like to see a non-Arrowverse DC show air? Well, for a while that was Black Lightning, right? I mean, because was it? It was like a question whether or not it was actually in the Arrowverse for the longest time, because I think the creators had said they didn't want it to be, part of the Arrowverse for a while. So, is there any show that you would want to see on TV? Because I think that's what he's asking. Like something that's not connected to the Arrowverse, but it's DC property. Because I think Stargirl is going to be that, right? I mean, they're not going to be directly connected to the Arrowverse.
No, it's only going to be mentioning the Star Labs particle accelerator or anything like that.
Yeah.
So technically, Stargirl is the answer to that.
Okay. Well, then there we go.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. So I saw another super chat pop up here. Elizabeth Moore, would you like to see Stephanie Brown on Batwoman? So Stephanie Brown, that was Spoiler, right? Wasn't that her name?
Well, she was Batgirl, and then she was Spoiler.
Okay. Yeah, so the daughter of Clue Master, I think, is who she was in the comics. I could be mistaken there. I haven't heard. That character's not one that I know a lot about. But I don't know. Would you like to see her? Because you kind of seemed like you knew a little bit more than I did about Stephanie.
As I said, like with any character, it's if it's warranted. Like it depends. Like if she comes in, like there has to be a reason for her to come in and be Batgirl. I guess. Like was she a Batgirl before, and then she went away, and then she came back to Gotham, or is she now just becoming Batgirl? Like there has to be some sort of like reason for it. I wouldn't mind it, but as I said, it has to. Like, I think if you want to see a Bat family member sort of come into the show, it would be Batwing. You'd want Luke to get his suit. Like, that's pretty much what. That's what you'd want to see in regards to a Bat family member, and also be a male member as well. So it wouldn't be, you know, you have the female member of Batwoman and then the male member of Batwings. So I think that's the best way to go. And it's obviously, I think, the way they're going to go. But yeah. But if she came to the show, I wouldn't be annoyed, but I guess it'd have to be warranted.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, so I think we're caught up. I think. Let me scroll through one more time. I wish they would fix this. I did email them. I haven't heard back, and I mean, I kind of get it, but yeah. So everybody's asking about my shirt. I don't know if you guys saw or not today, but this is the first run of my new merch, and it is 90s Man. It's a comic book cover. There's going to be 2 variants of the shirt that I'm going to be releasing in April, and it's going to be about comic book tropes. And this particular trope is from the 90s, so it's like swords, guns, spandex, sexy suits mixed with like armor and pockets and blades, and it's just supposed to be a bit of fun. So it's going to be available for merch soon, and you know, maybe Paige will let me put him on one of my shirts and we can have a battle. I don't know.
A diss track? If it was a diss track, I don't even know why you'd even bother contending with me. I mean, seriously, you're not even going to last like 3 minutes in the absolute diss track ring known as YouTube. Like, why would you? Like, are you an idiot?
Yeah, I would do a diss track. Anyway, it'll be available on my shop on Teespring, where the Gotham Airrick shirts were, where those are still available, but those are going to be coming down. These will be going up. So the variants are 2 different costumes. So it's the same design with 2 different costumes. So yeah, those will be out throughout.
Wait,
April.
is the other one where you're wearing the old Miss Marvel outfit, or is that the other? Am I incorrect in saying that?
There's no Miss Marvel outfits. Don't worry about that. There's no Miss Marvel outfits. So
thought there might have been. Would have been the first one to buy one, Eric. Would have been the first one.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So if you haven't got the Gotham Airrick shirts, which is me with the Batman stuff in the background, you can go over there to Teespring now. The links should be right under my videos, so you can head over there and get one of those before they go away if you did want one. They've been up for a while, though. I think I put those up in November, and I haven't changed them since. So there's that. So, all right. So let's move on and talk a little bit about the Wonder Woman situation. And there's been a couple clickbait videos today about it going straight to VOD. And I'm excited for Wonder Woman. What are you excited for Wonder Woman? Is this a movie that you've been looking forward to seeing, or you know, are you okay with it getting pushed back? Like, how do you feel about the delays and stuff?
Like, I'd rather see it in cinemas, but if it's going to be this thing where it's just delayed another year, then I'd rather just come out on VOD.
Okay.
Like, if it like, I don't mind the delay to August as if cinemas are open by then, because I'd rather see it in the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if it's one of those things where it's going to get pushed back to like 2021, I'm like, well, it's at the point where you're just going to have this like pile of movies that need to be released, and I think you'd be better off just releasing on VOD. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like if it's going to take another year for it to come out, I just want it to come out on digital. Like, if it'll be like, you know, August of 2021, I don't know if I want to wait that long to see it. So I don't know. I like the idea. It looks like a fun movie. I think I said the only thing I didn't like was like the lightning scene where she's like swinging through the lightning and stuff. But other than that, I think it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. I don't know what they're going to do with Black Widow, though. That's it's going to be tough. So let's go ahead and do another super chat here. Victor DiCincello, 199 super chat. Batwoman setting up another more powerful villain. So are we talking about after this week's episode, Victor? I don't know if they're going to have time at this point. The shows are not going to be able to finish, I don't think, this season. I'm pretty much feeling like we're only going to see up until whatever's been filmed. I really honestly feel that way, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but deep down in my gut, I feel like it's going to be tough. How do you feel about that? Do you think Batwoman has time to set up another villain, or do you think this is like, are we done? Like, because it's so late in the season. You didn't have to see this week's episode to answer this question. Like, literally,
I think it's only if there was some sort of like underlying thing going on, and then whoever this person comes in was all behind it or something, then yeah, they could easily be the villain. But if it's just out of the blue, then probably no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that in terms of the show, or even if they have time to do it.
But then again, they do have. It's not like they have 3 episodes left. Like they would have had 7 episodes left to go before what happened. So if they have to end early, it might seem a bit off and a bit random. But if they were able to go to 22 episodes, it could have worked if they introduced them, say, next episode.
I think it's funny that for once the shows with the shorter seasons actually benefited from what happened because they all got to finish their seasons.
Yeah.
So
Legends still might be screwed.
You think so?
If they can't get it all done in time. Like I think they're pretty much editing the finale, I think now. But I think it's like the more complex, like the more detailed stuff, like sound mixing and stuff.
Yeah.
So that might be a bit of an issue. But I think they probably will get done. Even if like people have to break quarantine and go dig a tunnel or something like that.
Yeah. Copa Studio says this week's episode could have been a finale. I could have seen it as a mid-season finale. I don't think it would have been good as like a season finale, but I mean, maybe we will end up with that. Tom here says the producer of Wonder Woman 84 said it would be ludicrous to put it on VOD. Well, until the studios decide that they need to make money, and yeah.
Now, you know why I'm saying it's ludicrous though?
Why is that?
Because then he doesn't get this $1 billion picture next to his name.
Oh, that's a good point.
You got to remember, it's not the person at Warner Brothers saying that; it's the producer of the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
He gets to put in his resume, "I was the producer of Wonder Woman 84, which made $1 billion." That's why he's saying that.
Yeah,
it's not. He doesn't care about, I guess, the ongoing effect of it. He's more concerned about having that on his resume,
right?
His record. That's all he's concerned about. Because that's Charles Rover. He's an idiot.
Yeah. So Blitz here says, is it me or is Ruby Rose just not a very good actress? I'm going to toss this to you. You've seen her in a lot more stuff than I have, so I don't have much of a platform to speak on that.
I think she falls into the same. I think I've sent this to you. I think I was saying it to you. Or did I say it in a live stream? Can't remember. But she sort of falls into that category like that I'd put Catherine McNamara in, where it's a person who acts whose trade isn't being an actor. So in regards to Ruby, it's like sort of a jack of all trades.
Right.
Like she does a plethora of things, but acting isn't like, say, at the, if you're doing a decathlon or something, and you've got the 100-meter sprint, you might not be the best runner. So that the acting might be in that. That might be her event where she's probably coming last or second last or something. And with Catherine McNamara, she's like she's a what's that, like an influencer, like a social media influencer,
right,
who is an actor who just, and that's how she gets the jobs, because she's got the social media stuff going on. So they fall into that category. I do think when Ruby is Batwoman, she's really good. I think that's why
I agree. Yeah.
And in some sense, she's good as well. I think it's when she's opposite someone that just doesn't work with her. I think it's one of those things where it's a struggle for chemistry with other actors, and sometimes it's like blatantly obvious, like that, like last week's episode.
Yeah, last week was pretty rough for sure.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty much that she's acting isn't her trade. She's just a jack of all trades, and it's one thing she does. As I said, it's similar to Catherine McNamara. Like they're the two best ways to. I think that if there's a similarity, it's those two.
I agree. So DeAndre Elliott with a $5 super chat. We're talking about Black Lightning here. He goes, how would Static Shock work on Black Lightning? Black Lightning fans have wanted him since season 1. How he would work? Well, they would probably make him a green light meta. I mean, that seems like it would be the easiest way to explain that character. I think the tough thing they have is there's already so many characters on that show with electric powers. It's like when you have multiple speedsters on the Flash. So it's really tough because those characters conceptually on TV would be very similar, even though we know as fans of the comics they're not the same characters. But on TV, there's only so much they could do with it. I think Jennifer is the extent of, like, the extension of that or progression of the electrical powers that her father has. I just don't see how Static Shock could work on the show unless the other kids were gone, because now you have Brandon as well, who's also a meta, who's with Jennifer, and then you have Grace, who's with Anissa. I just don't know where that character would fit in on the show. I would love to see him, but I just don't know how it would work. Do you have any theories on that? Are you a fan of Static Shock or the cartoon?
Well, firstly,
theories?
his name's not Static Shock, it's Static.
What?
His name's not Static Shock, it's Static. I always see people calling him Static Shock. But his name's
because of the cartoon series, right?
Yeah. But I just thought I'd correct. Just say it's not Static Shock.
Yeah, I thought for a second thought you were gaslighting me. I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, I remember from the cartoon series, but yeah,
it's just I see always like even when the person asks the question, like it's Static, not Static Shock. They could make it work. I think it. I just think I think you're falling into that category where people were complaining about there, like with the bloating. It's like you're putting a character with just not the exact same, but it falls in that same category of powers. I'm like, well, it'd be better in a show where he stands out and he's different. You know what I mean? Whether it was like a young hero group or something like that. I think that'd be the best way to go. I don't think putting him in Black Lightning unless he's introduced there and then he goes off after like knock my fan. He's in there for like an episode or two and then buggers off for another show. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it.
Because we see that most of these shows can't handle having characters with similar powers. It just doesn't work usually. No. Let's see. Here's a random question. Who do you think Taskmaster is? Isn't that Tony Masters? Isn't that who he is in the comics? I mean, I'm going to assume that's who he is in the movies. I mean, are people expecting some big reveal with this character? Have I missed out on this? Being a Marvel shill, I should have known this already. No, I haven't seen any question about who he is. I mean, I guess a lot of maybe it's the blogs trying to come up with something to talk about. Have you seen anything about this? I didn't know it was I didn't realize people.
What, like in the movie, who's he going to be?
Yeah, that he was going to be someone that we know, I guess.
Oh, the guy's on the freaking poster. Come on, what's his name? He's in the poster.
There's a poster with his mask off?
No, yeah, it's like him. It's like who his like alias is going to be. Let me look up his what the actor's name is. Black Widow movie.
Yeah, because everybody thinks there's going to be some big reveal, and I'm like, I don't think there is. But
the actor's name is O.T. Fagbenlel. I know how he's pronounced his last name. What's his character's name? His name's Rick Mason. That's what they're calling him. An ally from Romanoff's shield past who is romantically interested in her. Okay. Obviously, he's Taskmaster. Okay. Random character who's not from the comics. Yeah. He's obviously going to be Taskmaster.
Yeah, I was going to say, because in the comics, his name is Tony Masters or Anthony Masters, I believe.
Yeah.
So, so there we go.
Yeah, he'll be Taskmaster.
Yeah. All right, let's go down here. So another super chat. Gary Gammon with the 99-cent super chat. Thank you so much, Gary. You're always supportive. Thank you. So, double crit here goes 184 on VOD would be financial suicide, 99% piracy rate probably. But see, that's the thing, is anything that's released digitally is going to be pirated. But these movies, like newsflash, guys, movies that come out in theaters get pirated as well. It's not just stuff that's on digital. I mean, it happens all the time,
and that's why they charge the higher rate as well.
Right? Yeah. So I mean,
that's the whole reason.
Let's not pretend that doesn't happen otherwise. So here we go. We got something from Geek Information, a $4.99 super chat. I could have sworn an actor who was on Black Lightning, the kid with the dreads, posted on Instagram about being Static and Stargirl. Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. He I think I got confirmed he was just sort of like fan casting himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He deleted the post because I think he edited the post or something because I think he was just fan casting himself. I think having Static in Stargirl wouldn't work. I don't think it fits because they're meant to be doing like a whole Justice Society thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So Staggervore 499 super chat. If they introduce Static, I think it would only be for an episode or two, and then set him for his own show that most likely do the Big Bang. So I don't think, and I could be wrong here, giving Static a show off of Black Lightning would be tantamount to giving like Kid Flash his own show. Like, I don't think they would do that. And I know he's not intended to be a sidekick. I get it, but I don't think they would create two shows with characters that similar, especially if they plan on having them work with each other. Which is why I was kind of surprised that we got a Supergirl and a Superman show, but maybe that's why they're trying to make Superman not really a Superman show. It's like a family show because it's not just him saving the city and doing all the stuff that Supergirl's doing. So I guess if they were going to do that with Static or a Static Shock series, they would have to make it very different. I just don't see how they would make it work. I think it's sort of one of those things like maybe like Godspeed, like you think you want it and they give it to you and then it's not good. I just feel like that's what they would end up doing with that character. Like, I really do. I could be wrong. Let's see. DeAndre, $5 super chat. Thank you again. How do you feel about Steven not wanting to come back unless you already talked about it? We haven't really talked much about it. I know he said in a was it a live stream or an interview that he's done with the Arrowverse and doesn't really want to come back. Was that his quote? Something along those lines?
Yeah, it was something like that.
I get it. You know, he has launched a lot of other things. I don't know if he wants to be a movie star. Is he still doing the wrestling show now?
Well, he was meant to, and then he got to shut down the production.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's still going to be a thing, maybe. But, you know, they play these characters for a while. They have different ambitions. They want to do different things. You have, you know, a show like Supernatural where they had the same two characters as the leads for the entire series all the way through, and they've been happy doing that. They've also done like independent projects, but they're very happy with doing that and being a part of that series. But then you have stuff like Supergirl, where Melissa wanted to be on Broadway, so she went out and did that for a while. You know, Victor Garber left the show to go do a Broadway show. Steven probably just wants to do other things. He just isn't thinking about coming back to the Arrowverse. And I think we did say that if they do bring him back, we don't want him as a villain. We don't want him to show up as like Red Death or anything like that. I think that would just totally be wrong. Only because it would diminish the character. I think it would be a great fan thing, like to see him roll up in a Red Death suit facing off against Barry. I mean, I think a lot of fans would love it, but I don't think it makes any sense for the character, right? Do you agree with me on that? Or
yeah, I don't think it necessarily has to do with anything like. I think people are looking too much into it. Like I saw people saying, "Oh my god, he dissed it." I'm like, I think he was just saying like. No, I think he was just sort of like, did you want to say anything? Oh, you never know. And then there's 27 clickbait articles saying, did Stephen Amell just confirm he's back in the Arrowverse this season? Various things like that. Like, and then there's, I think people saying like what's the other way? Like, because he said that he's like sort of like dissing on it. And I'm like, either way, I don't think it really matters what he said. Because I think he'll personally will be back in some way, shape, or form, especially if Green and the Canaries gets picked up, he'll 100% cameo, no matter what. If that show gets picked up, he will 100% cameo on that show. Not like a guest star, like he's going to be in like a run of episodes, but he'll show up for an episode. Right. Or if that show gets picked up and they involve with crossovers, he'll definitely be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those answers that you do.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I feel the same way you do. I think if he comes back, I want him to come back as himself doing something for a crossover, maybe a special episode on Green Arrow and the Canaries, maybe something like that. So Double Crits following up here goes, the difference is a theatrical release gives them a chance to make money. People talked about WW84 only doing VOD like the Trolls movie. I don't think it would only do VOD. I think if it did do like a what are they calling it now? Like a something release. It's got a name anyway. You know, a bunch of movies just showed up. Birds of Prey is on it now. I think if they wanted to try and release the movie and they had to get it out and they wanted to make money, they would do a release on a weekend and a VOD release at the same time. That's the way they would do it. It would not be the best case scenario, but I feel like they're going to get to a point where it's either you push it off for a year realistically, or you put it out. And that's, you know, kind of where it is. It might not even be the same weekend. The VOD may be like, oh, it's in the theaters for 3 weeks and then we put it out on VOD after that. I mean, that's quite possible. What do you think? Do you think that's a possibility, or?
Well, it just matters what the climate is at that time, because the thing is that it just could be American cinemas that are still shut down. Like China's reopening now, so if they think they can make a splash in China and make it, let's just say.
Well, here's the thing, Paige. Our president is saying that he wants to have everything open by the 16th of August or April. I mean, so he's thinking we're going to start reopening stuff in April. So I don't know how we're going to do that, but.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think Trump's smart with certain things, but he also is a bit cuckoo.
Yeah.
I think he lies a lot. Don't necessarily.
But yeah, so he's like, I want everything to be open by Easter, so we'll see what happens.
That will not be happening.
I don't think so either, but it's going to be interesting to see how the fallout from it. Gary Gammon with 190 super chat. When will the next Flash episode? When will it be on? We don't know yet, right? They didn't.
No, they didn't even give an announcement. Honestly, it could be the 14th. It could be the 14th. Which would be a week after it was meant to come back. Because they've got as I said, because they have to edit stuff, they would at least have 2 episodes done, which would be 16 and 17. But they have 18, 19, and 20 that they would need to get done, which would take them to like middle of May when they usually would have finished anyway. So it could come back the 14th, but it's like a watch this space sort of thing. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, Laura with a $1 super chat supporting the show again, and also part of Team Airrick. Thank you so much, Laura. You're awesome. I also think I saw Amethyst show up. If you're still here, hello, Amethyst. Yes, we were a little bit early tonight. I thought you might be busy, but apparently you're not too busy, so thank you for stopping in.
Why are people surprised that I said Trump's smart? He literally fooled a nation into making him president. If you do not think he's smart, then Jesus Christ. He literally tricked a nation of 300 million people into making him president. I'm sorry, if you don't think he's smart, then you might be the opposite.
Laura E. With a comment here. How could they bring the Spectre back unless you have another crisis? I mean, he could show up in whenever he wants, really, right? I mean, he's a Spectre. Like there could be a storyline where he just kind of shows up. I mean, I feel like there could be lots of ways you could bring him back as a Spectre. They could create something. Yeah.
It's like time and place. Like if they did like a small thing, then I don't think it would make sense that he's randomly would show up. Like why would he show up for this really small thing? But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm intrigued to see if they did bring him back, how they would.
Good news, though, there's probably not going to be a big crossover in this next season, which means that they may be able to persuade him to come back for the following crossover. So we'll see. Let's see. Any more super chats? No. Did I get them all? There's a lot of people seem to be upset about the comments about movies. I'm not really sure. Like you cannot look at like anything but current stuff to determine whether they're going to do it, because there's never been anything like this. So going on previous trends, you can't really go on previous trends, right?
You can't look at anything. There's nothing like that's happened in the past.
It's all speculation, 100%. You don't really. There's really no. Like I feel like if the Trolls movie pulls in a good amount doing a split release, because they're going to release in theaters around the world and they're going to release online as well at the same time. If they end up doing well comparatively to what they're expecting to do, I think it speaks volumes about what people are willing to pay to see these movies. And they may think it is financially viable to do it that way. We don't really know yet. We don't. But I'm just saying, to discredit it or dismiss it or whatever, I think it's a little bit like presumptuous now to say they would never do that, because we don't know at this point, you know? So the Juice League, Juice League. Okay. Is that supposed to be Justice or Juice? I'm guessing it's supposed to be Justice. Is there any point for us to even care anymore, since the show's probably wanting to come back anytime soon, to be real? Oh, well, I wouldn't get upset about it. I think we'll definitely see some of the season before the end of it. Before it's all said and done, we're going to get the remainder of some of these episodes, but it just depends on whether or not they go back filming. If they come in with we're not going to film the rest of the season, we have to wrap it up with the episodes we have, they're going to air them immediately after that. They'll just say, get it over with and get them done, and they'll air them. But if there's a chance that they can actually film episodes to wrap up the season, they may delay them a little bit more. And like I said, I think we kind of came to the conclusion that June is probably the end of the line for them in terms of when they would air it, because I think that's the absolute latest they would want those shows to go on, except for maybe The Flash, because The Flash does pull in a lot of views comparatively. So what do you think? Do you think we should give up, or do you think there's a shot at them finishing the seasons?
I'm still going to air the episodes. Just might as well finish that we still enjoy the episodes. Like, I must say, Juices League, you're saying that I was negative in my last stream, and that's a very negative outlook. Come on, Juices, stop being so negative. You're really bringing down the stream.
Is that the person that said that?
Yeah. I was saying that I was super negative for being honest and just telling the truth. But anyway, don't make the stream so negative, Juices League.
So I'm putting this up on the screen because I do want to thank you for the $2 super chat, but there's no way I'm answering that question. You have to understand I'm not going to answer that. I mean, that's just like, that's a little cringe. Like, I get it. It's funny. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. But I'm not even going to open that can of worms. That's not going to happen. People will be taking that screenshot, and I'll be all over Twitter getting attacked. Nope, not going to happen. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see. You got another super chat here. Victor D. Chinchilla. Will the networks change locations due to the crisis in years to come, and will these affect their budget in general? That's a good question. I mean, this could actually change how they delay the shows. They may very well come up with some contingency plans or come up with some sort of guidelines for this in the future. I don't know how much it's going to affect this year, obviously, but it may affect it down the road. I think we talked a little bit over on your live stream about possibly filming in other places like Los Angeles or Atlanta, but we still don't know like if that's even an option at this point.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Whether it's legally or even if like they'll be able to go back to work in LA.
Yeah.
Well, if Trump's saying April 16, then maybe, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe Canada will be like, no, not April 16.
Well, Canada definitely won't because they'll still have the 2-week quarantine thing.
Right.
But the thing with the Flash is that everyone's American.
Yeah. Good night, Gary. He had a night.
I must say, apparently some of the Batwoman cast stayed in Vancouver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but I saw people say, like a couple of people messaged me on Instagram and linked me something, and I don't know if it was recent, but it was a photo posted by one of the actors, and it was a couple of them in Vancouver in like an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they're still there or not, or if that was like an old photo, but it was only posted a couple of days ago.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I don't know.
Cody here, Team Airrick member. Thank you so much, Cody, with the $2 super chat. Would they air what they have of Supergirl 5x20? It depends on how much they have. If they have enough footage to make it a full episode and make it make sense, I think they would air it. Don't you agree?
Well, they had like 2 days left of filming for it.
So you think they were almost done? They were probably just refilming some indoor scenes, I would guess.
Well, I don't know what they would have been, but they were like extremely close. Like usually, like you wouldn't be like doing a lot of hectic stuff right at the end of it. You'd be doing like simple stuff,
right?
Without the actors as well. So they could easily do it, especially if they just reuse footage as well. They could easily use reused footage. Of like some other random stuff.
They've done it before. They've used reused footage before.
It's more just whether they can edit the episodes. It falls into the same thing with like Flash and stuff, where they can't go to the area in which they edit the questions. The questions, the episodes.
Let's see. This is interesting. Finn, you're human. What are your thoughts on the new woke warriors? I think he's talking about the redesigns or the new characters that are getting introduced. Apparently, with the new warriors, did we talk about this a little bit? I think you and I did talk about it.
No, I don't think we talked. Oh, and I think we might have talked about it outside of a stream. I think.
Yeah. I think so. I think that I'm okay with like wanting to get more diversity in comics. I really don't have a problem with that. I think that the character designs and the storylines for those characters aren't what I would personally read, but maybe there are people out there that want to read it. I mean, did you have any opinions about it at all?
To keep it simple, like I think people like I don't want to say they're blowing out of proportion, but I think it's just a simple thing of someone who literally is just so disconnected from the younger generation, and that's what you get. It's someone that looks like they spent 10 minutes going through a random place on Twitter or Tumblr, and that's what they came up with. That's what it just seems like. I was lazy.
Oh, you mean the person that came up with the designs for the characters and stuff like that?
Yeah, like they came up with the characters and everything like that. I mean,
yeah.
But once again, it's one of those things where people are looking to go like, okay, let's talk about this and be angry for the next 4 months. I'm like, it's just a simple case of someone who's so disconnected from everything and is trying to be hip, cool, that community meme, like what's up kids, whatever it is.
Well, let me go even further then. I'll give a bigger opinion of it because I think people want a little bit more. I think I kind of skipped over a bit of why I have issues with it. But I do think that it's different from other stuff in terms of like if it should exist or if it shouldn't exist, because these are brand new characters, meaning that they're not characters that people know from like 20 years ago getting changed into something different. So you don't have to read these books if you don't want to, and I think
shouldn't affect anything.
Yeah. So if you don't like those characters, then it literally will not affect anything as far as your reading goes. You can make fun of it all you want. I'm not telling you don't have to like it or dislike it or whatever. I'm glad that they decided to create something different. So if it doesn't work, then we don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? It's sort of like the Inhumans TV show with the MCU. It was so bad. And I'm so glad that they did not get it connected even more with that series, with the MCU franchise, because it just was really, really bad. So I think the same thing is here with these new Warrior characters. And another thing is, in 20 years, are their names going to even make sense? Because things like Safe Space, Snowflake, those kinds of names or whatever, in 20 years, they're going to be like, why are those your character names?
Yeah, like
Safe
Space. Like Safe Space is going to be the name of some sort of like locker joint where you put stuff, like a storage joint.
Yeah.
I mean, Safe Space. Oh, that's where I put my old couch that I don't want to get rid of.
And here's UNE Music goes, you can address those things you're trying to tackle without being tacky. This ties into kind of how I feel about the shows as well. If you have like a platform and you want to like use it to promote something like a cause that you're passionate about, some type of art that you're passionate about, if you want to push diversity, that's fine. But I just don't like it when there's very little conceptual or artistic value to it. You know what I mean? Like with Supergirl, if you want to tell a story about like, something relating to like or paralleled with today's world, make it make sense within the world you've created on the show, and don't make it so literal. And I think these characters, to me, it doesn't get any more literal than this. Like they took things and concepts and they turned it into a person. And that's something that I don't like from any characters at all. I don't like it from characters that I grew up with. I think it's kind of stupid. So yeah, we'll see. Do you think they're going to sell well? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter now because the publishing companies that do the paper are not doing it. So
maybe that happened at the best time. I don't know. Well, issue number 1 would probably sell, but we never know. You never know. It could be like people that get behind it because it's like, well, you're making fun of it. So, and the thing is, a comic really only needs like to sell 15,000 issues every now.
So I'm going to throw this out here before because I'm going to get to Quindlin's super chat. If you look at comic history and you look at something like not the first X-Men, but the second run X-Men, the ones that came out in the 70s that introduced Wolverine, that introduced Storm, that introduced all those characters, they were showing what diversity should be in a comic book with everything. You got people from different walks of life, different races, different backgrounds with these unique stories and these really rich histories. And they built on top of that. And they created a diverse group of heroes that didn't have to beat you over the head with real world politics, because the writers and everybody involved with it took a lot of time to create those characters, with like Dave Cockrum and then Chris Claremont and all these people that are involved with the X-Men. And they really wrote some extraordinary stories. So when you take something like that, something that I grew up on in a series that I loved, and you sit it next to like this new Warrior story, it makes me think, no offense, that like a 5-year-old wrote the story. That's really the way it looks to me. Because if you look at them, it's two stark contrast of how to do something and how to annoy people. And that's kind of what it is. So that's kind of why I feel like they could have done so much more with it. I don't know. You have any more to add, or are you pretty much done with that? Once again, I think I watched the trailer. I was like, okay, that's a bad idea. But I think it's just one of those things where, because it's in this day and age where it's like dealing with, things that people want to jump on, it just ended up in this big avalanche. I'm like, who cares? Like, honestly, like, it was a bad idea by people that are so out of touch. Just move on. Like, if it was someone that was in touch and everything like that, and maybe had history with writing strong characters, maybe in smaller minority groups and everything like that, and then garnered good representation, then fair enough. But it just seems like it was someone that was attempting to tap into that, and didn't do well. And the art sucked balls. I know. I wasn't a fan of the artwork at all. I didn't like that artwork at all.
Comic concept art can sometimes be bad. Like, look at the first Godspeed. That looks like a 3-year-old drew it. With like some dodgy crayons from like a $2 not even Crayolas, like some dodgy ones. It still looked bad. Look, even if like it was even in decent artwork, it'd be bad. Yeah. And the siblings were like hugging each other in a really romantic way. It was weird.
Yeah, I actually didn't know they were siblings when I first saw them. I thought they were like I thought they were together. Yeah. So. And
then I was like, oh, they're siblings. I'm like, okay, well, that's a bad decision choice. Anyway.
So Quindlin C with the $4.99 super chat. If they want to be as good as the original Knocked Off gets picked off because of the sites would be the interest, not for lack of fall roster. Gwendolyn, did I miss part of your question? I feel like I'm missing part of that. Was that about something we were talking about and I just totally missed the mark on this one? I'm not sure what you're asking, Gwendolyn. Sorry. Do you know what she means?
If they want to be as good as the original knockoffs, get picked up because of the corona. Oops, I get just.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. So I think she's saying that if they get picked up because of what's going on, then that sucks.
It happened.
Yeah. And it should be not the interest of lack of fall roster. You're exactly right. Yeah. I mean, now I get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, a lot of shows, I think we suspected that Legends probably got picked up because of a couple of things. The writer's strike potentially being one of them. And then, if Green Arrow and the Canaries gets picked up, we know it's because of the situation that we're in right now, because there's been no hide or hair mentioned of that really at all. So thank you so much, Gwendolyn. Laura E with a question here. Do you think Supergirl is boring this season except for Lex? I would say
yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I feel like it is. I mean, there's not a lot. I feel like Crisis kind of screwed with Supergirl a bit. I think that show, because they got moved from their Earth to Earth Prime, and it's kind of made the show a little bit wonky. And then the whole Lex twist also kind of made it a little bit wonky, but the Lex twist is actually the best part of it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, are you enjoying, I mean, Lex is, if you had to say, in terms of like Supergirl, would you say Lex is doing really good at the moment, like on the show?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's yeah, he's good. He's okay. I just think Supergirl as a whole is a bit meh. I think it's a bit slow. Yeah.
What happened there? You sounded like something like jumped in or whatever.
Oh, I was playing with my fidget spinner, but deciding to try and spin it on my chin, and it dropped, and it almost hit the crown jewels.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So it was.
Gwendolyn confirmed she was talking about Arrow and the Canary, so we were on the right track then. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we were thinking that you meant. Yeah, we don't know much about that show really. I mean, I feel like it's kind of sort of in limbo at the moment, but we'll see what happens. Staggervore with the 199 super chat. Who are your top Arrow and Flash big bads? I mean, it's pretty easy for me. I would say if I had to pick top two, Reverse Flash and Zoom for the Flash, and Deathstroke and Prometheus for Arrow. That's my two. What about
you? Sure, I'm going to pick one from each just to try and make it a bit more exact. Right. I think it's pretty obvious. Donna Smoke and Cicada 2.0. There we go. That's the definitive top two big bads for that show. So there we go.
Oh my God. Oh geez. So let's see. Leviathan is one worse villain. So Leviathan, yeah, they've been that story's been really messy this season as well. It wasn't as tight as it should be. I'm gonna say this, and this is not me defending him, because I think what he did was, if it's true, the accusations against him, totally get it. Supergirl lost their momentum when they lost Andrew Kreisberg. That's just it. He was the one person really steering the ship on that show. And yeah. What do you think? Leviathan.
Leviathan's, I don't know. It's just there. But I agree with the Andrew Kreisberg thing.
Tom with $10 here. He says, the CW just cast young and hot people who aren't decided about whether or not they want to act. And once they realize acting is not for them, they quit and go for other stuff like Broadway.
I think with the DC stuff, not really. I think like other CW stuff, like if you look at like Riverdale and stuff, then fair enough. But I think if you look at like Stephen Amell, good actor. Grant Gustin, good actor. Candice Patton, good actor. Carlos Valdez, good actor. Tom Cavanaugh, good actor. Rachel Scarston, good actor. Melissa Benoist, good actor. Kyla Lee, good actor. David Harewood, good actor. Katie Lotz, good actor. Brandon Routh, good actor. Cress Williams, good actor. They're all good actors. It's more when you get into that thing where you might get a guest for a season, or like the villain. The villain can sometimes be weak, but even then, I think for the most part, especially when we look at like Arrow and Flash, the villain's been fairly strong in regards to an acting standpoint for the majority of the time. So I think it's a CW trope for the other shows like Riverdale and those other shows like that. I think with the DC side of thing, like in regards to the main stuff, not really.
Yeah. Supergirl video clips. That's incorrect. Season 4 of Supergirl was their best season. It didn't have Andrew Kreisberg. Well, you know what? I have to say, if looking back now, you're probably right. Season 4 was a really good season of Supergirl because there was a lot of really good episodes in season 4. I think season 4 wasn't season 4 like it had a really strong beginning, right? And then we kind of felt like the end of it sort of
when Lex
pull it together.
When Lex Luthor came into it, and
I
have a feeling that for some reason I've always had this underlying feeling that they changed season 4. Like once they were able to get John Cryer in as Lex Luthor, they changed it. Like I don't think he was meant to be that thing at the end. Right. I think Red Dawn was meant to be the villain.
Oh, but see, I kind of loved like there was a few episodes in the first 5 or 6 episodes of that season that were actually some of the best episodes that Supergirl's ever had. So. Yeah, I think Andrew Kreisberg, when I say that the show lost a little bit of momentum, I think the Reign story really suffered from the loss of Andrew Kreisberg. I think that's kind of where I felt like it lost a little bit.
To delay the season by months to rewrite it and then go back to filming it. So
But you have a good point. I do think season 4 was probably a really strong season. I forgot about how much I love the beginning of season 4 of Supergirl. DeAndre with the $5 super chat. Do you think they should have left the new Zari out of Legends of Tomorrow? The new Zari doesn't mesh well with the others, in my opinion. Yes. But I mean, they couldn't just let her go away that way. You know what I mean? The way it happened on the show, they weren't going to just let her vanish and have her brother replace her or whatever. I knew that was I knew she was going to come back. I didn't know exactly how they were going to do it. But yeah, the new Zari, her personality doesn't work well with the show because it's your typical, like, it's the idea of an influencer being on the ship, and she's also from the future. And I just feel, I don't know. It's almost like, will influencers even be doing that at the time period that she's from? You know what I mean? It's comedy for comedy's sake. So what do you think of the new design of Zari on Legends? Are you okay with it? Do you not like her?
I prefer the old one. I know I don't really like this new one. I wish they could just figure a way to bring back the old one. The new one, the new one just seems like it just doesn't fit the actress and just doesn't fit the show. Yeah, not the biggest fan.
Yeah. Pagey fans is here. Pagey, Eric and Pagey is the crossover we deserve.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's the one you deserve. It's definitely the one you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, anyone can answer asking in the chat, and to Eric and Pagey. Well, I didn't see what you said. Oh, here it is. Out of Legends Bar is Supergirl, Black Lightning season 2. Which one would you recommend? I binge the lack of shows and new episodes to watch while I'm working from home. So if you haven't watched any of Legends of Tomorrow, I would say season 1 is tough. I'm a completionist, so I would say you have to watch all of it. But Legends of Tomorrow really gets good in season 2. But I feel like you have to watch the very end of season 1 to sort of understand a little bit of season 2. So if you can suffer through season 1, then go ahead and give the rest of Legends of Tomorrow a go. Supergirl has a rough bumpy spot between season 1 and season 2 because it's moving from, I think it was NBC to the CW. And then Supergirl just gets progressively better for a long period after that, I think. And Black Lightning season 2 and season 3 are great. So I think you'd be fine watching either one of those. Any recommendations there, Pagey, or
is it the most recent seasons? Or is it season 2 of Legends Supergirl?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, I'm not sure.
Probably Legends season 2 is probably the strongest out of those. The Black Lightning season 2 is good, but it's not as good as the Black season 1 or season 3.
Yeah.
So I'd say Legends probably, but you do need to watch at least the finale probably for season 1.
You're right. Yeah. Latin Shark 956 with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Who would be your fan casting for Bruce Wayne on Batwoman? Mine would be Jim. I cannot ever pronounce that last name.
Caviezel?
Yeah, I could. You know me, I can't pronounce stuff. I always get everything wrong. So I'm going to go with. Let's see. I had a couple in my mind. Let me see the actor's name. Can't remember. Where's it at? I can't find it now. You know, I could totally go with the one that everybody wants, which is Jensen Ackles, right? That's what everybody really wants to play Bruce Wayne. But I don't know if he's old enough to play Bruce Wayne for that series. He'd have to be much older, right? Isn't he supposed to be like 15 or 20 years older than Kate?
Yeah, so he'd have to be in like his 40s. Well, Jensen Ackles, I think, is in his 40s, but you'd have to be like look like you're in your 40s, I guess.
Right.
Look like a bit experienced and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him. I can't remember who the other one was that I want, but any fan casting from you?
Not really. Like Catherine McNamara probably be very good. Maybe Charlotte Ross.
Right. Maybe Robert Pattinson. I mean,
he'd be a terrible Batman. No one would cast him as Batman. Chris Klein. He'd be pretty good. Ashton Kutcher, Sean William Scott, Jason Biggs, pretty much the American Pie cast.
Jason Momoa, I think would be good. I think.
Nah, he sucks as a superhero. I'll never cast him as a superhero. Dr. Phil, LeBron. That's about it. I think those are probably the top contenders.
Ben says, how about that old fart we got on Titans? That was the worst Bruce Wayne casting ever.
Yeah, the fact people still trying to defend that is a bit yikes.
It felt so out of place. I was like, geez, this does not feel like Batman at all to me. So funny. So we kind of got sidetracked there. We were talking about bloating on shows and we really didn't go back to that at all, but I think you guys get the gist of it. See, surely Rachel Skarsgård's back is tired from carrying the show. So I guess we're talking about Batwoman. Speaking of Batwoman, what is your honest opinion on Batwoman right now? Do you feel like it's improved a lot in quality? Like, do you feel like it's in a good place at the moment? Or do you think it's kind of still where it was at mid-season?
No, I think it's probably the most improved show since Crisis.
Okay. You think it benefited from Crisis then?
Well, I don't think it necessarily benefited from it because I don't think Crisis really changed it. I just think its story post Crisis has been, I think it's just improved the most from what we had at the beginning. And that's just because it's the first season. I had to struggle with setting everything up or attempting to set things up and dealing with like a lot of characters or a lot of new characters, might I say. You know,
the truth is Batwoman had a lot to deal with because Crisis coming so early in the show's lifespan.
Yeah, it didn't help. Yeah, it didn't help that they had to deal with that big change in their first season. But yeah, I think and I know I'm liking Flash more, but Flash was already good. So that's a common. Like I think I've said that in the past in my own streams. I think Batwoman's improved the most. It's like, well, what about the Flash? And I'm like, yeah, but the Flash was already good. It already had a really good first half. So there wasn't much to improve. But Batwoman needed to improve, and it has done that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people still trash the show pretty much, but I mean,
obviously, it's one of those things where people watch the trailer and they haven't even watched the show, and they go, "The show's trash." I'm like, "Have you watched the episode?" No, I watched the trailer. I'm like, "Oh, there you go, there you go."
Yeah, exactly. There's a question up here that I was going to answer, and I kind of slipped by. Elijah Colbert, Eric, would you consider reviewing Lucifer during this time? So I've only ever seen like bits and pieces of this show of Lucifer. So I mean, I could, if we find out the shows are going to be gone for a really long period, I wouldn't mind doing that. Have you ever watched Lucifer at all? I think you said you didn't, or is that right?
I've watched an episode once.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I might be willing to give it a shot, depending on what happens with the shows. We'll have to put a tack on that one, put it up in the wall somewhere. Laura, Ruby Rose sucks as Kate Kane. I mean, I feel like we've been saying that for a while, that her Batwoman is good, but her Kate Kane suffers.
Yeah, she was cast to be Batwoman, and it's one of those issues where they have Kate Kane on the show more than Batwoman. And she was cast as Batwoman, so that's the biggest issue. Yeah, like that's pretty much all there is to say about that.
Gamerman X9000 Legends of Tomorrow needs more Arrowverse characters from other shows. I mean, I guess they pretty much pick up so many characters. I mean, other than Kid Flash, I don't know after Crisis who they would pick up. Like who would leave to go and be on Legends anymore?
Well, if Greener and the Canaries doesn't get picked up, I will put my hat in for Mega Smoke. She would definitely be the new queen of the Wave Rider and would definitely increase my interest in the show.
You know what? We could actually see her and Sarah fight every single week. Because that's what they would do. So,
for some reason, they'd still be looking for Oliver's grave. I don't know. They'd still be doing it. Or a Lazarus pit to resurrect Oliver. It'd still be happening. So it'd be great. I'd love it.
Here we go. I knew I was waiting for this to happen. Daniel says, Lane, I think is it Lane or Ian? Glenn is a better actor than any man or woman ever shows her face in the Arrowverse.
Oh, maybe, but he still sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't a good Bruce Wayne. I'm not talking about the quality of his acting. He did everything that he was told to do on that series, and he did it exactly as the directors and writers wanted him to do. I still didn't like him as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. I mean, and also I would say there's a couple of actors like John Cryer's done really good. Tom Cavanaugh, even good old Joe, Jesse is, I would put him at the level of the guy from Titans. I mean, he's good, but there's other guys. Victor Garber. I mean, there's been plenty of really good actors on the Arrowverse shows. It's like people tend to become a fan of a series, and then all of a sudden, one character from that series is better than everybody else on any show. I just don't believe that. Let's see. Any more comments here? Oh, this is a good one. I could see Nia the Dreamer on Wave Rider. Actually, I think she would work better on that show, kind of like Wally was worked better on Legends as well. But I think Supergirl kind of needs, her character brings something to Supergirl. I just wish they would give her more time on screen. This season, I feel like they haven't given her enough. The one episode wasn't enough for me, personally. So, would you like to see Dreamer on the Wave Rider?
What are we talking about?
Oh, we're talking about characters from the Arrowverse to go.
Yeah, no, which character in particular was it?
Dreamer, Nia.
Probably not. I don't even know I don't even know what characters you could put on there. Like, got to put some weird ones that would like blend into like the whole. Like Ralph would honestly probably work, but I don't think he'd work as well. Like, I think he'd work on like a character sense, like banter between. But I think in regards to like what they do in the episodes, I don't think it necessarily work too much. Yeah, I don't know.
I think is this probably about the Batman thing? Let me ask you this: is he worse than Batwoman's stunt of Batman? Are we talking about the person that we haven't even actually met? Is that we're comparing the Bruce Wayne from Titans to somebody that hasn't even been cast on the show yet?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why we're still talking about like Ian Glenn is. It's not even like subjective. Objectively, is not a good Bruce Wayne or Batman. Like, I don't even know why we're still talking.
Yeah, Laura, do you think James Olsen will come back to Supergirl? No. I mean, okay.
Maybe.
Let me say no. He may come back, but I don't think he'll ever be at the capacity that he was at before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom, Wally was way too OP for Legends. Having more than one speedster is kind of OP, just to be completely honest.
Like, it would have been good if he was there the season before.
Mm.
Because that was when Reverse Flash was there, and it would have been cool. You could have had some Reverse Flash versus Wally West scenes.
Yeah.
When he came in, he was a bit too OP.
Yeah.
What was going on?
I'm gonna toss this your way. Paige, do you know anything about the next crossover?
No, I think that all that's been said is that it's a very confusing statement as well. It's smaller, but it's smaller but big, whatever that means.
Let's see. Go here. I saw. Was there another one up there? I thought there was another one. Oh, here we go. James Olsen is a big, better thing, or on to bigger and better things. The new Jackson Mortal Kombat. Let's see how good that is, though, before we start praising him, because we don't know how good that's actually going to be.
Oh, I think it'll be okay.
I mean, we've had a bad track record of video game movies, so
Yeah, but I think if it's R-rated, they can just go full on over the top.
Because wasn't Stephen Amell trying to break into movies with his role in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that didn't go the way he wanted it to? So
yeah, but also that was like a Michael Bay thing. That was pretty much just destined for disaster.
Staggervore 199 super chat. What did you think of the Gotham series? I mean, I watched it all the way through. It wasn't my favorite, particularly because I didn't care for. I know it was supposed to be an Elseworld series. It's not a universe that we're familiar with. So they were kind of starting from scratch with their own lore and stuff, and just borrowing from the comics. And I'm okay with that, but it wasn't my favorite show. I know a lot of people loved Gotham. There's a lot of people who are passionate fans of Gotham, and that's fine. It just wasn't. It wasn't in my big like 3 shows for the longest time. What did you care for Gotham at all? Did you think it was any good or?
It was okay, but like the issue with Gotham was that when it was good, it was good. When it was bad, holy crap, it was terrible.
Yeah,
and it was like a real split. Like it wasn't like you only got like one bad episode a season. You could have like 8, 9 episodes in a row where you're like, this is shocking, like not good in any. But then they'd have like a 3-episode arc where you're like, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah,
like that was the biggest issue with Gotham. It didn't make you want to keep watching. They felt like a chore to keep watching, and that could be the case with a lot of shows. But it was because of that thing where they'd have like an arc, which could be like 3 to like 5 episodes, which would be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But then it could just have this massive run where holy crap, it was terrible. And just because they used to focus on characters and arcs. So there'd be things like where they focused on Barbara Gordon, who was arguably one of the worst characters on the show. Like she was so bad.
She was so bad, but I loved her for being so bad. She was one of my favorites because she was so. Her story went on and it changed so many times.
And then she like looked like she was going to become some Harley Quinn, and then they brought a Harley Quinn in.
They brought a Harley Quinn in, and then she went in the direction of like super slick, like suits, always wearing like a pantsuit and like blonde hair. And I'm like, they changed her so much over the course of the series.
And the finale was. Well, wasn't very good.
I think so. Here's my opinion. Of
2 episodes, it could have been good, but the fact it was all squished into 1 episode and made it not very good. Like very.
I think Gotham was one of those things where people knew we were going to get Smallville in the sense that we were never going to see Bruce Wayne actually become Batman, but they kept teasing it and teasing it and teasing it and teasing it, and so people were like, "Are we going to get it? We're going to get it," and they're like, "Oh, you'll get it at the very end," and then I think we got like 2, maybe 3 scenes of him in a flash forward of him being Batman, which I don't think it just wasn't well done. I mean, I wish it could have been better. And I know that last season got people really, really hype, but I don't know. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Supergirl video clips here says Wally was owned by Damien Dark in Legends season 3, which didn't make sense. So let's talk about that for a second. I want to mention this because you're absolutely right in a lot of instances. And if you go back, this whole thing started when Wally was on The Flash. One of the 2 of them would always get knocked out or incapacitated because they didn't want to have both of them using their powers at the same time. And I was actually surprised that we got them working together in Death of the Speed Force because they typically don't do that. But we did see Wally get captured. Barry had to save him. Do you think that Wally was understated on Legends and that he should have been able to beat more people than he did?
Yeah, but I think it was more the fact that at the beginning of the season they probably didn't plan on having Wally there.
Right.
I think they were just sort of like handed Wally on a platter and they're like, oh, okay, we'll integrate him into the season somehow. And they made it work, but I think they still wanted certain characters to be at a certain place, so he couldn't really overly impact where the story was going. He could just sort of slide into it and just fit in. But not really.
It was like when they gave Cecile Joe's lines and changed them for her, so she could fit into the episode. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, he was I liked his personality on Legends, and I feel like he was able to grow a bit more. But yeah, they did the same thing that they did over on The Flash with him a lot of times, and so it kind of made me a little frustrated with it. All right, guys, we're coming up on an hour and 20 minutes, which means I'm going to give you guys like the 5-minute-ish warning. If you have any super chats or questions, we're going to try and wrap them up here, and then we're going to close out for the evening. Thank you guys so much for joining us. DeAndre with the $2 super chat. Do you think we'll see Bruce in the season finale? Well, if we get a season finale, I think that would be, if they were going to introduce Bruce we might get like a voiceover. We might see him from, you know, she might walk in and see like a shadow of him standing in front of the window or something. I don't know if we get a full on Bruce in the season finale for Batwoman. What do you think?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Like a tease for next season or something?
Yeah, because I think it'd be hard to cast Bruce Wayne on a show and it not get out there.
Yeah.
So I think if it was going to happen, it'd be like it'd be a shadowy figure that, you know, without an actual character, an actor attached. Sorry, and then that'll be revealed in the off season who it is or who's playing him.
Yeah. Laura, do you think that Kelly will become the new Guardian? I mean, we got that little tease in that possible future. I mean, they could make her the new Guardian. I just, whenever you switch to that picture, it just makes me laugh. So they could make her the new Guardian, but then, I mean, why get rid of James just to give Guardian to somebody else? I mean, I would be totally okay with that character getting retired, but I mean, it could happen. It's very possible. Would you like to see Kelly become the new Guardian?
Oh, I really couldn't care.
Here's a good question. Will Diggle appear on Superman and Lois as he said he was moving to Metropolis?
I mean, maybe. I think they just sort of planted the seed, and if they want to do anything with that, they can. I wouldn't look. Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that they just plant the seed, and if they want to do something with it, they can. It's whether David Ramsey wants to sign on and do another show in Vancouver. He's not from there, so
right. He may have bigger and better things to go.
Well, he's got a family, so he's got like he want to be away from his family. Like when he started Arrow, he didn't have that family, I don't think. Yeah.
Elizabeth Moore goes, "Hey, I love Barbara. I love Barbara too, but I mean, I recognize that her story had a lot of issues, but I did enjoy her quite a bit." Let's see. Scrolling down. Okay, we got a couple of super chats here. Quindolin with a 199 super chat. Hopefully you see Diggle guest star on other shows. Oddly enough, that segues just from what we were talking about. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, so he might want to spend more time with his family. We know that these actors who are like main characters on shows, when they work in a series for like 4 or 5 years, they kind of want to step away unless they're the lead character. If they're a lead character, that usually doesn't happen. But yeah, I mean, he could get, I mean, I think Diggle could 100% guest star on some of the other shows. So, I mean, I agree with that. I'd like to see him. I mean, so here's the thing. We talked about this earlier about Stephen Amell coming back. Do you think they could work Diggle into these shows and have it make sense? Would you be okay with that? Or do you think that he should just stay away? Or how do you feel about that?
Well, he's not dead, so it's not hard to make it to work into the shows.
But he's also got the ring now. They couldn't really bring him back without addressing the ring. So
yeah, they could say, "Oh, the ring broke it, dropped it, car ran over it." Damn. Well, it was fun while I had it.
Oh, geez. UNE Music. I actually enjoyed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s past season with what they were given. The show delivered for me. Did I miss an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. chat or comment or whatever? I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 2 through 5, and then that was it. That was it for me. Did not enjoy the last season. Do you wish Constantine was never a main character on Legends? I love his character, but I think if he was never a main character, we never would have had a magical season, and season 4 could be as good as season 2 and season 3. I don't mind Constantine on Legends. I think he's okay. I mean, it's at least the character got continuations from his canceled series. You don't usually see that. And I'm glad they're addressing it a little bit. Do you not like Constantine on Legends, or what do you think? I mean, I'm indifferent about it. It doesn't really matter to me.
It's really hit and miss. Sometimes he's decent, sometimes just doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Victor's 499 super chat. Thank you so much. If there's a season ending on the Flash, Iris Dicey gets transported to the future. Hold on. Is this like a fan theory? If there's a season ending on the Flash, Iris Dicey gets transported to the future. So are we talking about like the Iris from the future storyline? Is that what we're getting at here?
I assume that it doesn't really. How can she get transported if she's dead? Unless her body gets transported into the future, and then they do some weird experiment on it, and then she becomes Savitar. Oh, well, there you go. There we go.
Female Savitar.
Next season, that's the villain. That's wow. Sorry for the spoiler. I've spoiled it, but there's the villain for next season. Iris
female Savitar
gets transported into the future through the new Speed Force. Accidentally, I don't know how she gets put into it. It's magic. It's apartment 4. Maybe we'll bring apartment 4 into it.
Right.
It's the new home in the new Speed Force. She ends up there and then gets embedded with the Speed Force, but she needs a new suit to encapsulate the Speed Force. new Savitar. New suit though, it won't be the same Savitar suit that we saw last time.
Right.
It will be a new one, and she will become the future Flash. So she will literally be able to say, "We are the Flash."
We are the future Flash.
Both her and Barry are the Flash.
We are the future Flash.
Wow. I'm sorry for spoiling it for everyone that was looking forward to the cliffhanger for this season, but there we go. Wow.
Gar Logan says, "Is there any shows next week?" No, they're reruns. I don't think there's any new shows next week.
What do they replay? They're playing, I think, the Grodd episode next week. What do they replay tonight?
Oh, I didn't even watch. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's it for Super Chat. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I think it's time for some dad jokes before we go. This was too easy. Do you have any dad jokes for us, Paigey?
Sorry?
Do you have any dad jokes?
Yeah, I got a couple. I'll say it first so you can find a good one. Okay. So yeah, I got a new job with the guillotine factory today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be heading there shortly.
Oh geez, here goes one. Dad joke for me. I had planned to be a banker, but I lost interest. There we go.
Oh wow. Oh god. Here's a current one. Are we up for the current ones? This is very current affairs. We really need to uninstall 2020, just reinstall it because the current version has a nasty virus.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to go somewhere with that, and I'm like, I know this is coming up.
You're wandering up demonetization.
I know. I've already got to look for that anyway. So, Elizabeth Moore, 199 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. Yes, I'll do an after party next week for sure. Clifford DeVoe, Eric, are you still in contact with Boba? If so, we do a crossover with him. I actually have been talking with Boba recently, and I don't know if we can do a crossover because of our time zones, but I'll let him know you asked about it and see. Yeah. So, okay, here we go. This one's really bad. I'm just gonna warn you guys. This one, the last one, this is a really bad one. Why are walruses never offended?
Something to do with their tusks.
No, they have thick skin.
Oh, that's crap.
Yeah, I said it was bad. That was a bad one. These dad jokes failed me. They failed me tonight. Okay. So anyway, that's gonna be. Go ahead. Okay, go for it. One more. Go ahead.
Current one. However, it might change how dad jokes go in the future.
Okay.
So, due to this quarantine that's going on, I'll only be able to tell inside jokes.
Okay. That one really was bad. Anyway, you guys, merch coming soon. The 90s Man shirt with 2 variant designs in my Teespring shop. Look for it in April. It'll be out then. If you want to see my Black Lightning season rant and review, my season overview for Black Lightning season 3, it is on Team Airrick right now. You got early access if you sign up and join Team Airrick. You get that. You get my Watchmen review. You also get to see my Arrow season 8 overview, which is coming out later this week. All early access if you sign up. If you can't do that, it'll be out on my channel soon. And you can watch it then. Definitely subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Thank you, Paigey, for joining me. I appreciate it. Lockdown. Yeah, so.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Rewind. No, almost got the video demonetized. I stopped just in time.
Look, you got a fan here. Supergirl video clips. The inside joke was a good dad joke, actually, Paigey. Well, there we go.
Feel free to use it.
One more thing, Tom. When's your next Hunger Games vid page?
I don't know. Usually I just make the streams up as I go. So I don't.
All right, we're out. It's been an hour and 30 minutes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will be live like several times, probably over the next few weeks because. Yeah, what else do we have to do? So we'll keep you guys posted. I guess if there's any news or updates about the shows, keep tuned in to Paigey and myself. Did you put a video out tonight, Paigey, by the way?
Yeah, I put out like, when did it go up? At 7 hours ago.
Okay, so guys, go over and watch Pagey's video. I don't have to really give him a shout out because, like, you guys probably already know who he is. He's locked down, and there he is. There's a picture of him right there. So anyway, I'm out. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much, Pagey. Thank you, guys. We are ending it. Do I really want to end it? Maybe.